And here we go. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Pulse of Ithaca podcast, the local podcast for entertainment in the greater Ithaca, New York area. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Sean, your host, and joining me is my ever-knowledgeable co-host, Pete.
Yeah.
This week, we'll be discussing some upcoming concerts in Ithaca and exploring the Chestnut Lean-To in Danby State Forest. Let's get started.
Yeah, Sean. My man.
I feel like it's been like, 2 weeks?
It has been 2 weeks.
Well, it's happened in 2 weeks.
It has been a good couple of weeks here. So good to connect with you and all of our listeners here.
Likewise.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We're here at the Canopy Hotel in downtown Ithaca. As usual, they're very gracious to host us and give us a nice proper space to record this.
Definitely kudos to the Canopy by Hilton.
So we have a lot to get to this week.
We do.
We're going to get to a lot of the events that are coming up over here in the next couple of weeks. We're going to call a friend here and see if we can get Ryan called in.
Okay.
If we have the right equipment. I don't know how that's going to go. We'll see what happens. And then we're going to talk about, you've got a hiking spot picked out for us. So
I do.
Really excited to hear about that.
Absolutely.
Before we get into the events this week, I just want to talk a little bit about what we had going on the past couple of weeks. It was a great time last weekend. We met up and they had the holiday winter festival here in Ithaca.
Right.
Some of it got rained out. It was a little dreary here, but we made the best of what we had. And luckily they were able to reschedule some of the activities for this weekend. So coming up on this coming Saturday, December 10th, they're actually going to try and get the ice sculptures out.
Let's hope so.
In downtown Ithaca.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's supposed to be in the 40s Saturday.
Yeah, it's another balmy winter weekend.
Yeah. So
it's crazy thing about in upstate New York that it's not cold enough in December to have these events.
Yeah, right. It was a little disappointing last weekend. They did do the silent disco on Saturday last week. There was kind of a low turnout, but I guess that's to be expected. Mm-hmm. Certainly not some of the raucous affairs that we've seen in years past.
Sure.
But definitely great that they were able to salvage some of it by rescheduling for Saturday. So if you're in downtown Ithaca this coming weekend, definitely check out the ice sculptures in the Commons.
Yes, please do.
So tell me, last weekend you did what, the Krampus party at Liquid State?
I did. I dressed up. I had my horns. It was a great time. It was a good turnout at Liquid State. They always do it well. I had fun. So
yeah, it was a good time. And so I got there before you did. Actually, you told me to come down. I got there. It was nice. There wasn't so many people dressed up that I felt uncomfortable. In fact, there was nobody dressed up because everybody was doing the parade from the Commons.
Right.
And then once everybody got there, there was a party in the back area.
Yes. There was definitely a lot of people dressed up. And there was a lot of people not, which was pretty cool because it's like, if you want to dress up, totally cool. If you don't want to dress up, totally cool. And it was like a little dance party. There was the Grinch there in her Santa Claus outfit. There was a costume contest. I did not enter it.
Oh, come on.
I did not want to enter it because I want to give a fair chance to everyone else.
Okay. Fair. That's fair. Yeah. I mean, your outfit was definitely, could have taken it all.
Thank you.
I asked you why you weren't up there on the stage, and what did you say to me? You said there's professionals up there?
There were people that had costumes that were like full body costumes. I had horns on.
Yeah.
For Krampus, and then
and
I had
a matching white jacket.
I had like a makeshift outfit. There were people that did it to the nines. So the person that won it, in terms of Krampus, if you've done your research, he did it to the T. He was
so describe it to me because I'm sure I saw, but I want to know exactly which person you're talking about.
All right, so the guy that won the costume contest had the full horns. He had a full like Bigfoot furry outfit.
Yes, I did see him.
And he had like a backpack pouch of what was it, like the baby dolls.
Okay. The ones that the Krampus eat
right.
If
so
bad.
Like the whole history with like Krampus and like Santa Claus is like Santa Claus treats like the good kids with presents, and then Krampus like takes the bad kids and like away and like eats them. And like people had like he had like a little like backpack of like little like baby dolls in the back. So like he did his research, he got into it, and he won.
Well, that's good stuff. I'm really happy that you told me about that event. That's not something I would normally go to, but I definitely had a good time. So
Good
thanks
to hear.
for getting me out.
Absolutely.
I know I've gotten you out to a couple events that you normally wouldn't go to.
Right.
I'm just thanking you for returning the favor. So, all right. So let's go ahead and get into some of the events that are going into Ithaca over the next couple of weeks. The event that I'm most excited about, and I could almost put this in the under the radar events, even though this is a nationally touring artist that I've been following for, I think, close to 15 years or so, if not longer.
No kidding.
But I was really excited about this. This is actually a show that I've been chasing for a while. I moved to Ithaca in 2018, and I've been waiting for Matisyahu to play a Ithaca show. He's played the State Theater before I moved here. He's done shows with Kevin Kinsella, who's a local musician that we've talked about here on the show before. One of my all-time favorites. And basically what we have going on this weekend is Cornell kind of didn't even really announce this show that much. There hasn't been any advertising. It's not showing up on Matisyahu's website. I found out through a friend of mine, Matt Gorney, who texted me and said, hey, this show's going on.
Inside scoop.
And what we have is we have Matisyahu at the Statler Auditorium on Cornell campus. It's going to be tomorrow night, Thursday, December 7th. It's from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. I've been told that the show will start around 7:30. He's only going to play one set, so it'll be about 7:30 to 9. No alcohol served, so just plan ahead for that. There is a bar at the Statler Hotel that will be open, so I think we're going to be there beforehand having a couple of drinks.
Very nice.
But I'm super excited about that. So just to give you a little backstory on this show. So this show is hosted by Hillel at Cornell University, and it's my understanding they're a central hub for Jewish student life on the Cornell campus, and it serves as the main gateway for students to engage in various aspects of Jewish culture and community. So for this year, for Hanukkah, which I believe starts tonight.
Does it really?
Yeah, I believe it's either tonight or tomorrow is the first night of Hanukkah.
Okay, very cool. Perfect timing.
Yeah, so it's great that they're bringing in a Jewish artist for this. Matisyahu, who's originally known as Matthew Paul Miller, is known for a lot. And I just want to tell you guys a little bit about this.
Sure.
So he's known for his fusion of reggae, hip-hop, and rock with spiritual themes. He has an eclectic music style, blending a diverse genres and themes. And this is an artist, like I said, that I've been following for about 15 years. He's had a lot of hits over the years. Some of you may remember his Live at Stubbs album that came out in like the mid-2000s. Classic reggae vibes. Just really enjoyed that album a lot. He's also known for his top 40 hit 2005 single, King Without a Crown. It showcases his unique musical style. He also had a performance in Jerusalem on October 10th, 2015. He performed at Sultan's Pool in Jerusalem. And it's an important event against the backdrop of escalating tensions in the city. And his performance was a significant moment symbolizing his connection to the Jewish heritage and the importance of solidarity. So I really appreciate his messaging that he has coming out. He also had an iTunes Top 10 album, Akita, that was released on June 3rd, 2014. And it showcased a more stripped-back sound, and that actually reached number 6 in the iTunes Top 10. So he's been around for a long time. He's had a lot of success. I've seen him in Chicago. I've seen him in Rochester. About 5 or 6 years ago. One of the best shows I've ever seen at Party in the Park, one of my favorite places. Shout out to Rochester for hosting that show. One of my favorite songs by Matisyahu was written with Stu Brooks. It's called Love is Born. So if you're interested in checking out Matisyahu on Spotify or Apple Music or YouTube Music or Tidal, definitely check out Love is Born or Love Born. So really excited about that show. I'm going to put the link to this show in our bio on Instagram at the Pulse of Ithaca podcast. The link is not really available anywhere online. It hasn't been advertised. So there's about 600 tickets available free, but you have to register for them. And the last I checked this afternoon, about 300 of them were gone. So there's still about 300 tickets left. And so if you want to get registered, check it out.
Check it out.
All right. So beyond the show coming up tomorrow night, we've got a couple of great shows coming up at Deep Dive. We've got Lespecial with Grub. That's happening Thursday, December 7th at 8 p.m. Mm-hmm. And Lespecial is redefining the term power trio. The multi-instrumentalist from Connecticut continue to push the boundaries of what a three-piece band is capable of, both live and in the studio. And this is ahead of their latest studio album, Odd Times. And if you're curious what kind of music this is, the band's signature blend of heavy future groove combines head-banging metal riffage and surgical rhythmic precision with bone-shaking 808s, subsynths, and ethereal vocal styling for a dance floor that welcomes moshing, dancing, and hip swaying. So
nice.
If that appeals to you, check it out at Deep Dive. It's happening Thursday, December 7th at 8 p.m.
Very cool.
Also excited to hear that Josh Oxford's band is playing on December 10th at 6:30 p.m. That's also at Deep Dive. The band is called the Oxtet. It features Ashley Ix, local drummer, and Pockets Bandits. So this is a great show I'm looking forward to. They are bandmates from Ithaca College. Josh Oxford started a jazz quintet consisting of drums, bass, vibraphone, trumpet, and Oxford on keyboards. And they've quickly evolved into something far more devious than simply playing jazz. Over the years, guitar and saxophone were added to fill out the ensemble, and their music takes rhythmic complexities inherent in the music of Frank Zappa and Mahavishnu Orchestra, the funk aspects of the 80s, Miles Davis and Herbie Hancock, and compositional techniques used in modern classical music. So definitely check that out. All those tickets are available at deepdiveithaca.com.
Nice.
So good to hear that there's so many options of music here this weekend.
Tons of options.
So what else do we have on here? Let's see. Looks like we've got the Upstairs Ithaca. All right, so for all you Fall Creek brass band fans out there, they are hosting an ugly sweater party Friday, December 15th. This is doors are at 9:30, shows at 10:15. It's $15 day of the show, and it's only $10 with a student ID. So if you're out there looking for an ugly sweater party, Fall Creek Brass Band is always bringing the heat.
Let's go.
That's going to be a good time. And that is a 21-plus show, so bring your ID. So I think that pretty much does it for most of the events coming up over here in the next few days. Mm-hmm. There were a couple of show announcements that we're going to talk more about these shows, I think, in a couple of weeks in our next podcast because they're coming up at the end of the month. But I did want to let you all know that we've gotten confirmation that our friends from Bike Bar and Scuba Jerry are playing December 23rd in Ithaca at Deep Dive.
Be there.
So I believe it's a Friday.
Saturday.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for clarifying. All right, so we got to make sure you get our facts here right. So Scuba Jerry, December 23rd, Ithaca at Deep Dive. One of my all-time favorite bands, and I'm hoping to line up an interview with the drummer for this band.
Yes, let's
Giant
make that happen.
Panda Gorilla Dub Squad is coming to Deep Dive in Ithaca. They're playing both a show in Rochester, and they're playing another show in Buffalo coming up here at the end of the month. So we'll be talking more about that next week or in a couple of weeks, but get your tickets for that. I've heard they're going fast. Don't want that to sell out. You don't want to get shut out. So definitely check out Giant Panda Gorilla Dub Squad coming up at Deep Dive. They've also got a Pink Floyd tribute benefit concert for Reach Medical. That's happening Friday, December 15th.
Very cool.
So
like Pete, you've listed a lot going on in the next couple of days.
Did I take a breath there? I feel like I have cotton mouth right now.
Well done. I gotta give you kudos to that. You listed really cool spots, really cool bands, must-see shows. Is there anything under the radar events that you think that our listeners would be interested in, like anything coming off the beaten path or like different locations?
Absolutely. And this kind of circles back to a topic from last week.
Sure.
Last week you talked about Stone Bend Farm.
Yep.
And you talked about how they had a great little hiking spot nearby, and there was a lean-to that you could camp in or hang out, great views. And so this coming. Let's see, what's the date on this? December 8th. DJ Gord, the Masquerade Ball at Stonebed Farm is happening. It's 7 p.m. to midnight, 196 Porter Hill Road, Newfield, New York. And basically, it's DJ Gord from the Comb Down who's going to be spinning vinyl. And I saw him at the dog park here a couple days ago.
Nice.
With our dogs. And I said, hey, what do you have going on? I saw that you guys, the Comb Down isn't doing New Year's Eve this year for the first time in a few years, a deep dive. What's going on? He said, yeah, we're not doing that. We got some other stuff coming up next year. But he said, I am spinning vinyl at Stonebed Farm. And he said, yeah, it says 7 to 12, but if people are showing up and there's a crowd there, he'll play all night. He doesn't care.
We gotta make a trip there.
Yeah, I would like that.
Yeah.
Who's driving?
I'll drive.
Okay, we could Uber too. That's an option. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
That would be a lot of fun.
Cool.
So, all right. So that pretty much does it for events going on in the next couple of weeks. Let's see here. I think we're... All right, so I have a confession to make. We were supposed to call Ryan to test out how to make a phone call on the podcast.
Our friend Ryan Engel, yeah.
How to bring in in preparation for our interview with Giant Panda next weekend, we were supposed to try to do I didn't have the right cable, so.
It's all right. We'll figure it out.
Skip that.
Okay.
We'll try and do better next week.
We'll level up next week.
All right, so before we get into the hiking spot that you have to share with us this week, what are you looking forward to, Sean, over the next couple weeks?
Honestly, so when I woke up this morning, I looked out my backyard window and there was snow over the tree branches, and I was excited. I
was excited too, man.
I fucking love snow. I love snow.
Yes.
Sorry for that, Bomb. I love snow because I ski and I love to hike and camp in the winter. And it was just so beautiful with all the trees covered in white fluff. So I'm totally looking forward to ski season.
Absolutely.
I'm very tempted to go this weekend and check out Greek Peak to see how the trails are.
They are open.
They are open. They've been open.
Yeah, that's right. Last weekend was opening weekend.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yes, they've been open for 2 weeks, which is crazy to think about. And the pictures that you posted look great.
Yeah, they got the new snowmaking machines up there.
Yeah, there's new snowmaking machines that are far more efficient, use less water, and they can make more snow. So I'm really curious. I'm really going to try to go this weekend early and like test out like if the trails are like decent.
You say early. What time you want to get there?
I will be on lift at 8 a.m.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be the first one in
chair?
there. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I'll see what I can do.
I will be the first person breaking the quarter race snow.
Awesome.
So,
dude, I like your style.
Thank you. And also like what I'm looking forward to is so State Theater turns 95 years old.
Jeez, that is wild.
Which is crazy. And they were having a little anniversary party tomorrow, December 7th, Thursday, December 7th.
Nice.
So I'm gonna make a cameo there.
And I believe tickets are available for that. I believe it's a ticketed event, and it's hors d'oeuvres and drinks.
And drinks.
They have a trio playing. I'm sorry, I can't think of the name of the trio that's playing.
Yep.
But yeah, so that sounds awesome.
So like they're 95 years young. So kudos to those guys.
Yeah, it's so amazing for them to keep it going after all these years. It's hard for these independent theaters to continue to keep the doors open year after year. There's a lot of capital expenses involved there. So
right.
It's so awesome to see the State Theater thriving in Ithaca after 95 years.
Yeah, and there's such history there. So
great stuff. All right, so this brings us to our local hiking spot segment. You do a wonderful job each week coming up with a great spot for our listeners to hike or camp, which I believe this week's featured place is more of a camping place, right?
Yes, it is.
I think this is one of the first camping places we've really explored. Most of our events have been hiking spots. Is that right?
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, what we're advertising now is the Chestnut Lean-To in Danby State Forest. It's a really cool spot. It's like from the road, I think it's Chestnut Road meets intersection of Baldwin Hill Road in Danby.
Okay, I know where that is.
Just outside of Ithaca. It's less than a mile hiking, more or less pretty flat. And this lean-to, the Chestnut Lean-To, is on the Finger Lakes Trail Network.
Oh, beautiful.
So it's a really cool spot. It's and the trail continues, and it actually leads pretty close to like Luttrell Hotel.
Okay.
Um,
So if you want to like camp for one night and then stay at a hotel the next night,
you could
can
do that. Yeah, the lean-to is one of the best lean-tos in terms of shape. It's relatively new.
Okay, so tell me about this. I'm interested now. What makes this an amazing lean-to?
So the lean-to is, like I said, like relatively built. It has a great fire pit. It has benches. It has like a picnic table. It's super easy to hike in, like I said. And I've camped there a couple times. I've hiked it several times. And so the last time I camped there was like 2 summers ago. And I remember I was with some friends and we were having s'mores. And I had all this like marshmallow over my beard. Marshmallow fluff, like over my beard. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go down to the creek, which is like kind of down the hill.
Wash it off a little bit. Try and freshen yourself up.
Yeah, exactly. Get those like sugar.
I mean, who wants marshmallow over their face? Like that's gotta be really uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's how aggressive I was eating this my s'more. And I went to wash off the marshmallow off my beard, and I did like a 180 and not a 360.
This sounds dangerous.
Yeah, so I went a 180 and I was completely sober.
Okay. Are you sure?
So, yes. So this is at nighttime. So I had no sense of direction, but I did a 180.
Okay.
And instead of going back in the direction of where the campsite was, where the fire pit was, where all my friends were camping, I went in the opposite direction.
Wow.
And I was walking back, and I was like, it was not this long of a hike back to my camp spot.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, shoot, I'm lost.
Yeah.
All right, so I take my phone out.
It's got to be terrifying.
Well,
did you have signal?
No, barely any signal.
Okay.
I had to take my phone out, which had 10% battery. And I was like, all right, I'm trying to look for my position. And I was like, it wasn't showing up. So I called my friend Dustin, and I was like, hey, I'm lost.
Right.
Like, can you like drop a pin? He's like, well, just look where the fire pit is. It's nighttime. You should be able to see a fire. I was like,
no, dude, I'm in thick, dense woods.
Yeah, I took the wrong turn. I don't know where I am.
If I could see the fire, I wouldn't have called you.
Exactly. And he was like, drop a pin. And he's like, I'm talking to you through my watch. I'm trying to find my phone. I'm like, I have like less than 10% battery here. Like, drop a pin. He's like, I can't find my phone. I'm like, all right. Then I dropped my phone in the woods.
Oh my gosh. So hold on a second. At any point did you wonder like, what supplies do I have on me?
I just had my phone.
So
that's it.
like you didn't have a pocket knife? Like if you had to go like build, what are the 3 things? You need fire, shelter.
Yeah.
You need fire, shelter, food.
Yeah.
Or fire, shelter, water, basically.
I had none of those. I had a phone that was dying on me.
You had water because you were near a wall.
Well, I don't know if I would drink that. But I was like, I'm going to drop in. He's like, I don't have my phone on me. I'm trying to find my phone. And I dropped my phone, and I dropped it face down in the woods. There's no light. And the trees were so covered, so I didn't have any moonlight. Oh so I was like, shoot, I can't find my phone. And
were you panicking?
I was panicking.
Was your heart racing?
I was like combing the floor for my phone.
So tell me about like, seriously, was your heart racing? Do you remember like heavy breathing? Did panic set in at any point, or at this point were you still calm
as it kept going, I started getting a little more nervous.
Okay.
And I was like, I can't find my phone, which I'm worried about. And I'm in the thorn bush. I can feel it. My arms and my legs are being cut up right now. And I was like essentially rolling on the ground trying to find this phone.
Oh my god!
So I finally
was that effective? Was the rolling method
I finally found my phone, and it was like, he put me on speakerphone, so everyone I was with was like, come to the firelight. I'm like, I can't see the firelight. Like, I'm down a hill.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have like less than 10% like battery on my phone.
So what happened?
I was plowing. I started panicking. I started like going in like panic mode, and I was like plowing through these like bushes.
So you just started running.
I started running.
So you were in full fight or flight. You were in flight mode.
Yeah. And then finally in the distance, I see like the firelight in the distance. By the time I got the firelight though, like I like checked myself, like my arms and my legs were covered in blood.
Oh my gosh. I was savage.
I was running through bushes and like just being like panicked and like I can't find my way like home.
Oh my gosh. Dude, that is a wild story. I don't know what I would have done in that situation. Probably the same thing that you did.
It's funny thing is like I like to consider myself like an experienced like outdoors person.
Yeah,
so it's
I
really
would agree.
embarrassed. I'm like I like had this panic moment. I'm like I have no sense of direction of where I am.
Yeah.
And I couldn't see the stars. I couldn't see like the moonlight. I couldn't see any kind of light.
Pitch black in the woods.
Pitch black. And I didn't have my phone to like this is north, this is south. Like I had no idea. And I'll harken back to it. It's like I went down to the creek, splashed my face in water to wipe the marshmallow off my face. It's like a 180 and like went the opposite direction. So
how long were you gone for?
A half hour.
That's amazing. That's amazing. You know, the human body is amazing. It's amazing that we can go from like totally hanging with our friends, going to do something really simple, and then before you know it, you're like off in the woods, lost. But to be honest with you, that's kind of one of the cool things about being out in the woods, right?
Yeah,
Unpredictability and learning to survive. I kind of wish that you had been stranded out there all night because I would like to know how you would have made out in pitch black trying to find water, shelter. You had to like build a construct, right? Like you could have gotten. What would you gone for? Like a pine tree?
No. Here's the funny thing: it's like you can like survive like without food or water for 24 hours easily. The worst case scenario would have been like just lay down, fall asleep, wake up the next day, we can see.
Yeah.
And then like make it back to camp.
Yeah.
But I was like in panic mode.
Was it summer?
It was summer.
Okay, so you would survive.
I would survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. Man, hey, I think that's one of the better anecdotal stories that you've told on the podcast year to date. I'm really excited for you to share that with us. So I think that we should get back out there and try to not erase this memory, but I feel like you should have another story to tell. Have you been out there since then?
I've not. I was a little traumatized.
Yeah.
I'm tempted to go back, but
I think we should go back and face that campsite. Maybe be a little more prepared. Like when you leave the campsite, bring your fireproof matches, bring your Swiss Army knife, maybe a thermos, maybe a flashlight. Yeah. Like never leave. Lesson to all of our listeners: never leave.
I literally went like 100 feet, and then got lost. Me, the experienced outdoorsman.
Oh my gosh! Well, I can't wait for you to show me this tour in person. So I think that pretty much does it for this episode. We talked a lot about what was going on in Ithaca the last couple of weeks. We've got some great events coming up here. Super excited for the holiday season in Ithaca.
Yes.
One of my favorite parts of the year. You know, people say to me, "What's your favorite seasons?" And I would say fall and winter.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I love summer, but like fall and winter are like so much excitement. Oh, and I wanted to pick up on something you said earlier. You know, nature has two natural Prozacs for us. And for me, it's the sun. I think it's like nature's Prozac.
Vitamin D.
Yeah, that's right. And then I also feel like snow on tree limbs. Or just a dusting of snow. Like I woke up this morning, like you talked about earlier in the podcast, that like blue, and they're like the sun was out a little bit this morning. There's a little bit of blue sky. There was the snow. It made me feel so good.
Yeah, like, totally. I was really happy this morning.
Yeah. So we're super fortunate to live here in this place called Ithaca, New York. I'd like to thank all of our listeners for tuning in this week. This wraps up another Pulse of Ithaca podcast. We realize that everyone has a lot of options. We'd like to thank you all for tuning in and spending time with us. Big shout out to all of our listeners in Ithaca and around the world. Without you all, this show would not be possible. So I'm your host, Pete, and of course, I've been joined by the ever insightful Sean. We hope you also take the opportunity to discover the Chestnut Lean-To in Danby Forest. If you ever want to go on a hike with us, or check out some of these spots, we're always open to hanging out and making new connections. So definitely connect with us. If you love what you heard today, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on your favorite podcast platform. I did fix the link to iTunes last week. So we got some feedback from our listeners on Reddit, actually, that there was an issue with the link to the Apple podcast. So that's back online. Definitely check us out there. If you have an event story or local favorite you want us to cover, reach out to us on social media. Shoot us an email. We'd love to hear from you. So until next time, keep your finger on the pulse of Ithaca and make the most of this amazing place we call home. Take care, everyone.
Thank you, Ithaca.